2020 was a putrid enigma of a year. But despite all of the absurdities that happened throughout 2020, there was just one thing that intrigued me above all else. The fabled bingo cards that everybody kept talking about. The things that featured aliens and murder hornets and a show about tigers. Who could have predicted all this? Why do people keep thinking that they could? If people had predicted that at the beginning of the year, why didn't they say anything about them? So I thought it might be fun to take today and make a few of my own bingo cards for this upcoming year. Hello, I'm HeartRight, and this is HeartLeft, and today I'm going to make a negative 2021 bingo card. The things that we don't want to happen, but probably will anyway. So, here is your 2021 bingo card. We're going to add a few things that will inevitably happen, so as to give us a bit of a fighting chance. We're going to add in a celebrity death. I think it's pretty understood that that's going to happen regardless. A streaming service such as Netflix or Hulu is going to have a price hike, and we're going to have a major earthquake, major power outage, and major tech hack. And another thing that's probably pretty likely, although it's not a sure thing, is that something that is considered healthy is actually going to be considered unhealthy based on some new scientific evidence. Also, another thing that I think is fairly predictable is that there's going to be another virus that somehow arises. Not a new strain of COVID, but a new one altogether. But it will, nevertheless, be compared to COVID-19, and people will freak out and wonder if it will be the next big thing when it won't. I hope I don't come to eat those words. Okay, so now we're going to move into things that are likely, but not a guarantee. We're going to say that DC is going to make another bad movie. I think that's a pretty safe bet, in my honest opinion. Politician is going to mess up on camera, and not, I mean, like, just messing up a word. I think they're going to actually have, like, a Freudian slip and accidentally say something really bad. Disney is going to buy another studio. Not just another studio, I'm talking like Sony or Universal. We're talking like a big buy. Like, it makes international news and people wonder, is this legal? There's going to be a way for fan fiction to be monetized. Now, that could happen in one of two ways. One, the good way, is that it's like YouTube, where you put up enough fan fiction, you get enough notoriety, and you start to be able to monetize it or show ads off to the side of it or something on a website, and you make money off of those ads. The other way that I think is the worst way is that if, say, you write a Super Mario fanfiction, Nintendo then claims all that money, kind of the other way of YouTube. Nintendo then claims all of the money that would have been made off of that fanfiction from those website ads. I think one of those two things will happen. A rich family fakes a kidnapping. I think that'll probably be news for a day, but it's worth putting on here. There's going to be a big art heist. I'm talking like Mona Lisa, David, we're talking Carmen Sandiego levels of heisting here. And honestly, it's going to be really fun to follow. The Office reboot is going to be bad. Okay, let me explain this. I believe there is an Office reboot in the works, right? I think it's going to either, the trailer's going to come out, or like the first episode or the first look at it is going to come out, and it's not gonna get a good reception. It is going to be considered worse than the original. It's gonna be considered worse than the last two seasons. A theme park is going to close down. I'm talking like Six Flags, I'm talking like, maybe even Lagoon is probably big enough. A big enough one that it makes news, that it makes like national news. There's gonna be a zoo escape, which, much like the art heist, is going to be bad, short term, but it's going to be really, really fun to watch and follow. There's going to be a report out that the Statue of Liberty is leaning. And of course, a cacophony of memes is going to come out from that, like the Statue of Liberty is now dating the Tower of Pisa, blah, blah, blah. I think this will be news for like maybe 3 days and then be forgotten about. There's going to be a challenge on YouTube called the Digestion Challenge, where people will swallow something and then see how long it takes to get to the other side. I don't think it's going to necessarily be harmful. I don't think people will be swallowing like things that actually harm them on the inside. It's just going to be gross. Birds take over. Let me explain this one. I don't think birds will literally take over, much like the robots will, but I think there will be a moment in time where it makes national news, where people will look out of their windows and say, that's a lot of pigeons out there. Like wall-to-wall pigeons. Why are there so many pigeons? Where did they come from? Why are they coming here all of a sudden? Are they going to take over? Is it a health concern? Did they bring a new virus? I think those are all going to be questions that are going to be brought up when somebody opens their window one day. And again, gonna be news for like 2 days and then be forgotten about. Zombie spores. I don't need to explain that, do I? Have you played The Last of Us? Okay, this one is subjective as to whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think a comedic Batman movie is going to be announced. Not a Batman-like movie. I'm talking like use the character Bruce Wayne as Batman, but as a comedic movie. Starring like Ben Stiller or even like someone like Will Ferrell in there. Maybe even like Jonah Hill. I think that's going to be announced. It won't come out, but a comedic Batman movie is going to be announced, and people are going to be like, no, please. A tech billionaire is actually a cyborg. We're talking Mark Zuckerberg, we're talking Elon Musk, we're talking Jeff Bezos. They're going to be not just like a filling or not even like a pacemaker. We're talking like their entire arm is a cybernetic arm, okay? We're talking like Edward Elric levels of cyborg here. We're talking like Victor Stone levels of cyborg here. We're talking that one guy from Treasure Planet levels of cyborg here. And Nicolas Cage is going to run for office. I think probably governor of like a Midwestern state. I'm gonna go ahead and predict that. I don't think he's gonna win by any means, but the campaign will be so funny. And then last but not least, to fill out this 2021 bingo card of not things that I would want to see, it's Mr. Peanut has a midlife crisis. I think somehow the Peanut Company is going to put out a campaign where, okay, what is he, like Bart now? He's like in his early 20s, right? I think 2021 is going to see a new campaign from the Mr. Peanut Company wherein they collab with like a chocolate bar company to make like a peanut chocolate bar. But the way they do it is they're going to have Mr. Peanut have an affair with a younger chocolate bar, and everyone is going to say that is not okay. You might even say it's in bad taste. So that is your 2021 bingo card for the negative things. If you would like to comment on it or tell me if I got anything right throughout the year, go ahead and tweet me at itsheartright with the hashtag HeartBingo2021. I will be coming back to this every month to see if I got anything right. I hope I don't with this list. And if you would like to see a positive bingo card, I'm actually going to put one up tomorrow, so make sure to catch that video as well. I'm HeartRight, this has been HeartLeft, and have a good 2021.
More hollow, indolent destruction, endless.